Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today I'm going to talk about how you need to take some very valuable lessons from your own mistakes. Now, what happens is that we keep on making mistakes on repeat and we never take on any valuable lessons from them because it's easier to live in your comfort zone than to start creating on new healthy habits. And it's very difficult to take on new things. It's very difficult to change the rigid belief system that we have developed for ourselves. So it is time for you to now start owning up to your mistakes, because the moment you do that, the moment you start taking valuable lessons from your own mistakes, what is going to happen is that your decision making is going to improve. You're going to make some very good decisions in your life because now you're taking some learning from your mistakes. You are learning from your mistakes and correcting the path that you're on, and this is a way you can create a better life for yourself. So let's get on with it. The reason why we feel like a failure in this life is because we've been following the path that has been set down by the society of ours. We follow a linear line, and because we follow this linear line where we go to good schools, we go to good colleges, we pay a lot of money to big MBA institutes, but end up in a very miserable job. And that is the reason why we need to start owning up to our mistakes, because if we keep on following the path that has been set to us by the society of ours, now this society comprises of your parents, of your teachers, of your peers, of your siblings and your relatives. And what is happening is that you're taking in a lot of pressure to prove yourself, to create this identity of yours that doesn't really work for you, because you know that you have a great talent that you could have nurtured and made money out of it. You are in a job that is not working out for you. So it is time for you to understand that as long as you keep taking advice from people around you and you are lost in this life of yours because you didn't ask the right questions at the right time, what is going to happen is you're going to be on a path that is not meant for you, and you're going to feel miserable for the rest of your life. And what a lot of people do is they tell themselves that, now I'm 40 years old and I can't do this. I can't change my life path because I have a lot of responsibilities. But they're miserable in their lives and they're taking on a lot of stress because of the way they're feeling. They know that, if they nurtured onto that talent of theirs, or if they had that fire in their belly to be an entrepreneur, but then the fire got subdued because they had to listen to their parents or to their siblings, and the fact that they didn't have the courage at that time, what happened is that they are in a mediocre job, in a mediocre position, and they know that the moment they leave that company, no one is going to remember them, and they don't have the kind of money they need to retire early. And this is happening to a lot of people. Now, this is just one aspect of life that I'm talking about, that is your career. Now, people can make wrong choices when it comes to relationships also, because they didn't pay attention to the mental state they are in. So a lot of people have a lot of emotional baggage and they come under the pressure of the society to keep on living with narcissistic individuals, and these narcissistic individuals keep on exploiting you emotionally. And this is where you can go and learn that you can leave a narcissistic individual. I have done a video on that. You can go and check that out. I'll put the link down below. So there are a lot of areas of our life that need improvement, but we don't pay attention to those areas of our life, like let's say studying for an exam. So a lot of students, what they do is they don't pay attention to their time management skills. They in fact make fun of students who are sitting down early and preparing for the exams, let's say 6 months in advance. And what they do is they go and make fun of these students, saying that, oh, there's so much of time, why are you preparing for those exams that are going to happen in 6 months? What they don't realize is that they're wasting that time. If they would have paid attention to their books and given themselves 1 hour of study time, they would have done well. They would not have had any sort of anxiety, because that last minute anxiety that they're getting because they didn't prepare well is happening because they didn't value their time. And because they didn't value their time, now they're facing a lot of difficulties in this life of theirs. And this is where you need to understand that if we do not own up to our mistakes, if we do not take up valuable lessons from our mistakes, and we do not correct our ways, we do not correct our thinking, what's going to happen is we those silly mistakes, and the result will be reflected upon this life of ours, because we don't get a redo on this life. We have to live this life once only. And if we are not learning from our mistakes, what is happening is we are just accumulating a lot of bad decisions in our life, and those bad decisions are making us feel miserable in this life of ours. How do we start owning up to our mistakes? Now, when we talk about mistakes, we're talking in plural sense, of course, and there are a lot of big areas of our life that we've been making really, really big mistakes, and we don't know where to start, where to begin. So the first thing is you can make a list of the areas that need improvement in your life, and then ask yourself a very simple question: what is it going to cost me if I don't change my ways? So we need to pay attention to the kind of mistakes that we're doing in this life of ours. And if we don't correct our ways, what is going to happen is we are going to accumulate those mistakes of ours. So let's say we've not been paying attention to our spouse, we've not been paying attention to our children. What is going to happen is we are going to lose those relationships of ours because we didn't make an effort. We didn't make an effort to spend quality time with them, and now they don't want to sit with us and have a chat with us when we are feeling very, very down in this life of ours. Same way, if you're a student and you didn't pay attention to your time management, what is going to happen is you are going to fail that exam of yours or get very less marks, and then you're going to feel miserable because your peers are doing very well in their exams, and you feel miserable because you could have sat down and studied on time, but you didn't do that. So if you didn't pay attention to acquiring new skill sets, you will never be able to switch your careers. Let's say if you were to read a lot of books, you were to upgrade your skills, you could have changed the company you're working in right now. Or same way, if you're really good at writing, you can write a book and get it published, but you don't want to do that because it's such a heavy burden on you that change, is a heavy burden onto you. You get scared of new things, you get scared of new opportunities, and this is where you need to understand that you fear a lot of things in this life of yours. And this is the one mistake that everyone does in their life. They fear the unthinkable, the unimaginable things in their life. Now they are not able to imagine that future of theirs as a writer, or let's say as a singer, and that is where things are going wrong for them. Once you start asking this question, what is it going to cost me if I don't pay attention to my mistakes, you will find that you will get the right answers. And once you get the right answers, you can work upon changing your mindset. And once you change your mindset, you will find that you are able to make better decisions in your life. Now, the second way in which you can change your life around and own up to your mistakes is when you start reflecting upon your old patterns. Now you have a pattern of thinking, you have a very rigid way of thinking, you have a belief system that cannot be easily changed. So you need to write down, what is it that I need to change about my thinking process? And once you do that, once you get that basic idea where you are lacking in this life of yours because of the way you keep thinking about certain things in your life. So let's say you are 40 years of age and you want to open up a new business, but you have a lot of reservations with regards to how you'll go about it in your life. You fear a lot of things. You can write down those fears, and you'll find that most of those fears are very, very basic fears that everybody is going through. And once you realize that you have very basic fears that you can overcome, you will find that you have a pattern of thinking that you were not able to observe till now. So most of the time when we are making mistakes, it is coming in from our old belief system, and you need to bring in a new belief system. And the only way you can do that is first observing the kind of pattern of thought process you have. And once you do that, you will be able to find small little areas where you can bring in changes in your life. Once we realize that we have a very rigid way of perceiving things in our life, we are going to change those rigid belief systems. And the moment we change those belief systems, because we have made an observation, what we are going to do is we are going to find that we are able to make decisions that are based on courage, rather than fear, that are based on risk taking rather than avoidance. To the third method, we need to understand what all things threaten us. We as humans get threatened very, very easily. So if somebody is having a failed marriage, we look at them and say, oh, everyone is going through a divorce these days. And of course, those divorce numbers are increasing in our nation too. What people do is they will see the other couples that are going through a divorce, and instead of correcting their own mistakes, they are going to feel threatened in their own marriage. They are going to take the basic idea that is floating around their environment, and now they're going to change their perspective on how their marriage is doing. It might have been doing very well, but they keep on taking a lot of stimulus from the outside environment. So until unless you're very, very aware of yourself, you will keep on feeling threatened. So let's say you wanted to open up a cafe business, and you have a friend of yours who tried running a cafe and it failed miserably. What you're going to do is you're going to use his or her example and tell yourself, oh, this is absolutely not possible. I cannot go into business, especially restaurant business or cafe business, because it's doing very bad. You wouldn't understand the mistakes that they were doing and how you could correct those mistakes. No, you just took on the idea that if they fail, I'm going to fail too. And this is where we need to own up to the mistake of feeling threatened by our environment. We keep on feeling threatened by this environment of ours, and this is where we need to improve ourselves. A lot of mistake of creating these unnecessary mental pressures that they're taking from the outside world because they feel threatened by something that happened to somebody else. What they're doing is they are not taking the right steps in their life to improve their life around. And so if you're somebody who is going through really bad decision making because you feel threatened by what the world is going through, yes, this aspect of a life where the housing prices are going up, the cost of living is going up, and there's a lot of inflation and a lot of wars are happening. But at the same time, there is another story where people are really doing well in their entrepreneurial journey, and you don't want to look at that. You only want to look at the negative stimulus that is coming at you. And it is time for you to own up to that mistake, that you've taken a lot of stimulus from your environment which is very, very negative, and it impacts your decision making. So if you're somebody who is basing their decision making on the external environment, then you need to start moving on to your own thought process. Once you start owning up to your mistakes, the first thing that you'll do is you will stop taking advice from a lot of people. You will stop getting threatened by the outside environment, and you will start building up your own confidence level, because now you know that it is you who needs to change their way of thinking to make your life better. So if you love my vlog, do like, share and subscribe and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.